Updated October 20, 2017 16460. When I always liked the idea of being Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Fighting crime, killing my best friend's dad, spraying adhesive effluvia from my wrists. You know, kid stuff. Then I grew up, and in the year 2000, the superhero movies began. First was X-Men, where a decidedly unjacked Jackman strapped on claws and sideburns to become the most boneable Canadian besides Justin Trudeau. Then came Spider-Man, where a stocky man in his 30s played an awkward high schooler. From there, things accelerated. In 2008, we got the first installment in the Leviathan Marvel Cinematic Universe, a three-phase narrative spanning a multitude of movies. And now, in 2017, we're hitting our 17th installment in this series. The scale, ambition and work involved is bewildering. But it's only with Thor Ragnarok that I feel these films have captured the most potent superpower: laughter. The sharpest weapon. I'm not saying that Iron Man could riff his way out of a burning building, or that Black Widow could break a man's spine with a barrage of razor-sharp quips. I'm saying that Marvel movies have always flirted with comedy. The Avengers had some fantastic comedic exchanges. Deadpool was primarily dick jokes. X-Men Days of Future Past had a montage where Charles Xavier and Magneto went on a recruiting drive for the super team, culminating in a very familiar face. Guardians of the Galaxy was the first Marvel movie to take a proper swing at funny. It erred on the side of earnestness, but that's because its goal was to lovingly ape cheesy 80s adventure films. With Thor Ragnarok, Marvel no longer have any excuse to not be funny. It's as much a comedy as it is a superhero outing. Old Thor was a bore when I was a kid. I never really got Thor. I understood he was a bastardized Norse god, but back in the 90s, he talked like this. He was a tiresome brute, or all thee and thou, and gaze upon mine hammer, which clearly, lest thou doubt it, be a metaphor for my penis. I only suffered him when he was part of the Avengers lineup, a super team consisting of an alcoholic billionaire, an unfrozen popsicle of a patriot and an emotionless robot dressed like a toffee apple. That I found Thor the least appealing of this group speaks volumes. Thor gets an upgrade. What makes this new Thor so much better isn't just Chris Hemsworth's effortless charm. It's that Marvel have clearly realized this is an era where hyper-masculine bluster is doing more harm than good. Thor is a good-natured, earnest jock who cares about his friends a great deal, sure, but in Ragnarok, he's genuinely funny. And so is the rest of the cast. Director Taika Waititi was canny enough to know that having Thor make people laugh does infinitely more for cinemagoers in 2017 than watching more punching. Don't get me wrong, there's a metric pant load of punching in Thor Ragnarok, but it's being ferried along on an ocean of quippery. In comics and movies, problems are eminently smashable. Bad guys might be cunning, but they're not like a fear of public speaking, or growing old, or existential dread. Problems that superheroes face have, well, faces. Smashable faces. And superheroes band together, against all odds, and punch, kick and hammer those problems, right in their faces. It's deeply cathartic to watch these stories, but in 2017, we're sort of flooded by bad news. Every day on Twitter is a litany of unpunchable problems. Spider-Man, the original comic hero, which brings me back to my childhood Spider-Man obsession. What I loved about him wasn't his strength, his speed, or his ability to sense incoming danger. It was his ability to make me laugh. I'm not sure, on reflection, whether his jokes were ever, jokes per se, but the fact he threw them out whilst under fire was a constant source of inspiration. The ability to mutter crappy one-liners under states of extreme duress always struck me as kind of spectacular. So, how wonderful to have a superhero film that's more than a furious Christian Bale holding a bloodied mobster over a rain-soaked abyss, screaming "Where's Rachel?" with a voice that sounds like gravel being fed into a wheat thresher. How incredible to feel the way I felt as a kid, reading Spider-Man, watching this overwhelmed, sweet idiot trying to do the right thing, and even whilst failing, flicking out pithy rejoinders. What a necessary time for superhero movies to understand that we're probably desperate for more laughs right now. Having said that, given how many millennials flock to Marvel movies, I'm gutted the Hulk didn't barreled the camera to yell, "Hulk, avocado, smash topics, arts and entertainment, film movies." Australia first posted October 20, 2017 124,005.